As some of you may know, last month marked 55 years since the world was introduced to a certain animated canine of a Great Dane and those meddling kids from Mystery Incorporated. Well, prepare yourselves because I'm about to rank their series. Well, the titular character series, that is. So on your toes get get ready because here it is. This is my ranking of the Scooby-Doo series, the TV series. You know what I'm saying. So it's like this is Big D's entertainment rankings and reviews. So greetings, my fellow YouTubers, and welcome to Big D's entertainment rankings and reviews. My name is Doyle, better known to as the Big D, and I'm here with a special ranking. Today I'm going to be ranking the Scooby-Doo TV series franchise. Now, I'm actually considering this a 14th series because even though there were two different versions of one series, and while and one series was a continuation of one series, but I decided to separate those two. I hope you all understand this, okay? I'm not only doing this and why have you. So I'm making this an overall total of 14 series. Now, of course, for this series, just the main Scooby Doo series, I'm excluding any blocks that Scooby was a part of. I'm excluding the Scooby Doo Diamond Hour, All Star Laugh Olympics, and Scooby's All Stars, the Richie Rich Scooby Doo show, Scary Scooby Funnies, and of course, Scooby's Mystery Funhouse. Both of those were consistent of reruns of various shorts from the previous series, but I think you get what I'm saying, okay? And also, I'm not including that dull Velma series, which just more recently got canceled by Max, thank goodness. Believe me, and believe you me, I never even watched it. I only saw clips of it, but that's it. All right, okay, that about covers it. Let's get started with this ranking. Sit back, relax, and here we go. Grab yourself some Scooby snacks as well if you can find them. All right, here we go. Starting at number 14, and please don't shoot me for having this so low and why have you. This is the only Scooby Doo series I have never even watched, and that is Be Cool Scooby Doo, which originally premiered in 2015. Now, this, of course, is the 12th incarnation of Scooby Doo, and it's the only Scooby Doo show I have not watched. And again, don't hate me for having this so low and what have you. This is the only series I have yet to watch. It. I don't mean I sound like a broken record. Anyway, Scooby and Doo and the gang travel during their last summer break together, encountering havoc, wreaking monsters along the way. And this was described as having a more comedic tone than the previous series, Mystery Incorporated, which that's a ways ahead. We'll see where that winds up. The show employs character traits from the original 1969 series on top of redesigned character models. That's just one of the things I never would like to watch next show. The redesigns and what have you. Now, however, I do appreciate them having the main voice acting cast from the previous series back, like Frank Welker, once again doing Fred and Scooby Doo, Matthew Lillard, who of course played Shaggy in the live action Scooby Doo films in the theaters as Shaggy, and Gray Delisle as Daphne. However, this was the first series to have a no voice for Velma, and it was Kate Machucci, who of course had recently appeared in certain episodes of The Big Bang Theory. Despite Mindy Cohn's departure. Anyway, yeah, at least the gang solves the mystery and what have you. It's just that the character designs are a little, I don't know. This is why I've never watched the show. But if you think I should watch the show, then maybe I'll make an exception and watch it someday. But this ranks at the bottom of the chain for me. But you're going to hate me for having this up ahead of Be Cool Scooby Doo. Coming in at number 13 is Shaggy and Scooby Doo Get a Clue. Originally premiering on the CW network in 2006 after the WB and UPN network merged together. This is probably one of everyone's least favorite shows, and I understand and what have you. This was the 10th overall incarnation of the series, but this show is absolutely nuts on what have you. This was also the first series not to have Casey Kasem voicing Shaggy, although he was included in the show in a different role as the voice of Shaggy's rich uncle, Dr. Albert Shackelford. Frank Welker, however, was back to doing Scooby, while Shaggy was now voiced by Scott Menville, who did numerous voice acting for Hanna-Barbera and other studios. And of course, he recently voiced Red Herring in a pup named Scooby-Doo, which we'll see where that winds up later on. Well, anyway, Shaggy's uncle has disappeared and names Shaggy as his sole heir for an inheritance. And with the help of this, Shaggy has upgraded the Mystery Machine, giving it the ability to transform itself into a number of different vehicles. And so, well, his Shaggy's uncle made some enemies before his disappearance, including the evil Dr. Phineas Phibes, who of course gets his name from the abominable Dr. Phibes, which of course was a movie with Vincent Price, who of course appeared in 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo, which that's still ahead. Anyway, which I thought that was a pretty good villain, what have you. I thought Dr. Phibes was a pretty fun villain, what have you. Even though this was not like the other Scooby-Doo series, I feel like this is kind of underrated though. But it may not be the best, but if I do watch Be Cool Scooby-Doo one day, I'll probably put it over this one. But this is what it is for now, so please don't hate me for having these so, alright? Enough said about Shaggy and Scooby-Doo get a clue. Oh, its theme song's pretty fun and what have you. Seriously. Okay, now coming in at number 12 is Scooby-Doo and Scrappy-Doo. Now, I will also point out this. Well, actually, this takes place at both number 12 and next at number 11. In 12th place is the first series of Scooby Doo and Scrappy Doo from 1979. Now then, this was the last Hanna-Barbera series, excluding primetime specials, to use the studio's laugh track. Well, the studio realized that the Scooby-Doo formula was getting worn out, which gave them the reason to parody it in the primetime special Scooby Goes Hollywood, which premiered earlier before this, and thus gave ABC itself to give it a chance. While despite Fred Silverman had just left for NBC the previous year. So they decided to try and bring in Scooby's nephew Scrappy onto the scene. Thus, we got this show. Now, the rest of the mystery and game is still there, but they became less essential to the plot, and it became more of a concentrated effort to try and make them relevant once the new character's presence shed light on it. Which this wouldn't be the first time Hanna-Barbera had done this. They had recently done this prior with Wolfram Whimper Dog Detectives, which was edited down versions of Clue Club featured on the Skatebirds back in 1977. Anywho, the first series, which came out is at number 12. Well, it still holds a mystery feel to it. I just feel it's like probably my least favorite of this series with Scrappy. At number 11 would be the second, and at number 11 would be the second series of Scooby-Doo and Scrappy-Doo, which did a little better, and that, of course, originally premiered with Richie Rich, which came out the same year in 1980. As part of the Richie Rich Scooby-Doo show for its first two seasons for 2 years, this would be the only time Scooby would get second billing for a series. And then after this, there would be the Scooby and Scrappy-Doo Puppy Hour in 1982, which Ruby Spears, Hanna-Barbera's now sister company at the time, would co-work with Hanna-Barbera on this series, which of course, well, let me explain. Now, in the original, well, in the first couple of seasons, we have Shaggy, Scooby, and Scrappy. Shaggy's still with Scooby and Scrappy, and they get into all sorts of crazy misadventures, where if it involves ghosts or maybe folklore and I don't know what have you. When this for its first two seasons, when it got picked up for a third season, which Ruby Spears co-produced, they opened up their own detective agency, which consisted of two shorts, and then would be featuring a short that featured Scrappy with Scooby's Wild West brother, Yabadoo. Now, which this series was fine as well. So anyway, the I kind of prefer the second series over the first one anytime, but hey, that's just my opinion. So now you know that the first Scooby and Scrappy series is number 12, and the second series is number 11. So let's keep going. Next at number 10 is the new Scooby and Scrappy-Doo show from 1983. Now, of course, ABC kept the series going for the next few years. This time around, Daphne was brought back and joined Shaggy, Scooby, and Scrappy in new mysteries. Now, of course, each episode had two different stories. In some episodes, there would be a two-parter, if I'm not mistaken, because I am checking my source because I seem to know. Yes, the last two episodes of this series had two-part stories. Where's Scooby-Doo and Wang Bell Booze? Anyway, this series is pretty pretty good and what have you. It also had various well, some of the titles had various spoofs and or takes on other types of things that were recently used in movies and TV and what have you. Now, although it would have a second season in the new Scooby-Doo Mysteries, but not that I'm trying to be rude, I'm gonna keep those shows separately since they brought back the rest of the Mystery Inc. gang together for some episodes of that. But I'll get to that in a little bit. But the new Scooby and Scrappy-Doo show, well, it's not too bad. I thought it was fun and what have you. It does have a nice little feel to it, though. And next at number 9 is The 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo from 1985. Now, this series was much more different than the rest of the Scooby series until Mystery Incorporated premiered. Of course, ABC aired it. There were 13 episodes and what have you. Of course, which forgot to point, I will point out for them this and what have you. This, this series was also accompanied by Scooby's Mystery Funhouse, which was a repackaging of, well, shows from the previous Scooby and Scrappy-Doo series. Anyway, now, of course, in the initial episode for the series, the gang are thrown off course on a trip to Honolulu in Daphne's plane, landing instead of in the Himalayas. Where inside a temple, Scooby and Shaggy are tricked by two bumbling ghosts named Weird and Bogle into opening the Chest of Demons, a magical artifact that houses the 13 most terrifying and powerful ghosts and demons ever to walk the face of the earth. As the ghosts can only be returned to the chest by those who originally set them free, Scooby and Shaggy, along with Daphne, Scrappy, and a young pickpocketer, or was he a pick? No, no, I'm sorry. Well, I think it was kind of both a pickpocket and a guy, a little dude who sells off weird artifacts or something like that. It's been some time since I last saw this name, Flim Flam. They embark on a worldwide quest to recapture them. And assisting them is Flim Flam's friend, a warlock named Vincent Van Ghoul, who's based upon and voiced by Vincent Price, who contacts them by using his crystal ball. Now, Fran and Velma are absent from the series, and well, but it was revealed in the direct-to-video film Scooby-Doo and the Curse of the 13 Ghosts. It was revealed that they were away at summer camp. Although it was kind of weird that they were puzzled as to ask who was Scrappy when Flim Flam wanted to, when a grown up Flim Flam wanted to know. Anyway, 13 Goes to Scooby Doo. It's pretty dark and what have you, but it's not too bad of a series. I kind of actually do like it, even though it's been some time since I saw this. But I really like Vincent Price's voice acting work for this here program. And next up at number 8 is the new Scooby-Doo Mysteries from 1984. Now, although this is considered to be the second season of the new Scooby-Doo and Scrappy-Doo show from the previous year, I'm just kind of counting them as separate shows. Not that I'm trying to be, you know, and what have you. Now then, the series continue in the same format as the previous series, include 6 two-part episodes featuring original Scooby-Doo characters of Fred and Velma, who after being absent for the last 5 years. This also features a theme song that is performed in the style of Michael Jackson's Thriller, where the opening credits features shots of a row of monsters dancing like the zombies from the Thriller music video. Now, let's see. Now, most of these episodes had a two-part story, starting with the very first episode, which was Happy Birthday, Scooby Doo, which this series actually premiered 15 years after the original Scooby Doo Where Are You premiered. Let's see now. Then, of course, the whole gang were together in the episode Ghost of the Ancient Astronauts, and as well as A Halloween Hassle at Dracula's Castle. Now, Velma only gets to work with the group in the episode A Night Louse at the White House, while Fred actually joins them for Sherlock Doo and the show's final two-part episode, The Nutcracker Scoob, which eventually got shown usually at Christmas time almost every year on Cartoon Network and Boomerang. Anyway, yes. I will say that this is a pretty good show and what have you, and it's not too bad. They actually use the same type of theme music for Scary Scooby Funnies, which debuted the same year, and it eventually was a repackaging of segments from the previous Scooby and Scrappy-Doo show. So anyway, new Scooby-Doo Mysteries. Well, I liked it just a little more than the new Scooby and Scrappy-Doo show, but overall, it was still pretty fun though. Next at number 7 is Scooby-Doo and Guess Who from 2019. Now, this was the most recent installment of the Scooby series, which premiered on the now defunct Boomerang video on demand streaming service before it premiered on Cartoon Network. And the series later moved to Max, where it finished airing. Anyway, now this show was a kind of a well similar to the new Scooby Doo movies, which is still ahead on this ranking. Anyway, the series focuses on Mystery Inc. as they solve mysteries while encountering and being assisted by various celebrities and fictional characters, most notably from DC Comics and, well, also from Hanna-Barbera shows. Now, eventually, they got help from just about a lot of people. Well, amongst them included Weird Al Yankovic and let's see, was even Ricky Gervais, Jeff Foxworthy, and Mark Hamill, Kenan Thompson, and many, plus a lot of others. They also had fictional guests, including Steve Urkel of Family Matters fame, Wonder Woman, Batman, and and of course even the Hex Girls, who of course had made their appearance in the Scooby franchise by appearing in the film Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost. Now, of course, they recently appeared in other Scooby movies, as well as What's New Scooby-Doo, which is also still ahead. I haven't really watched all the episodes. I tried to and failed to, but I'm gonna try it again sooner or later. Anyway, Scooby-Doo and Guess Who, well, not bad. I still think new Scooby-Doo movies is more fun, but I'll tell you more about when I get to it, okay? And next at number 6 is Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated from 2010. Now, this is easily the darkest Scooby-Doo series of them all and what have you. Much more darker than 13 Ghosts. Originally premiered on Cartoon Network, yes, this being the first Scooby show to not to premiere on network television to come to Cartoon Network since the Spike Kids WB got formed into the CW for kids more recently. And also the first not to air on Saturday mornings. Now it returns to the early days of Scooby and the Gang when they are solving mysteries in their hometown, though it makes multiple references to the previous incarnations of the franchise, and takes the tongue-in-cheek approach to the classic formula of the series where increasingly outlandish technology skills and scenarios make up each villain's story. And the difference being the famous meddling kids quote at the end of every episode. I I didn't get to watch all this. I had a little bit of an issue with with one bit of dialogue in one episode, and I instantly stopped watching it. But however, I am going to give it another chance because I did actually have a soft spot for this. I like the dark feel of this. This was unfortunately also Mindy Cohn's last series to be voicing Velma, who, to my surprise, I didn't quite feel comfortable with them having like a little bow in her on one side of her hair. I'm thinking, what in the kind blooming world? Well, not that I'm trying to be rude or anything, but well, after years have come, I've gotten the hang of it now. So when I rewatch this series, I know I'm gonna like it even more. I'm seriously. So please, I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings or anything that likes this show, okay? And this is already one of the biggest, most viewed series ever. Now, of course, Casey Kasem would voice Shaggy one last time. Unfortunately, he was uncredited though after his voicing for the first 5 episodes. For a few episodes after. Well, no wait, take that back. I'm in error. Shaggy's voice was now voiced by Matthew Lillard to play him in the movies. I misread my source wrong. My mistake. But anyway, Casey Kasem voiced Shaggy's father in 5 episodes. But again, unfortunately, he was uncredited though. It would be his last voice acting role before his death a few years later. They even had Linda Cardellini, who played Velma in the live action movies, voicing a recurring character in the series known as Hot Dog Water. They also brought back the Hex Girls and Vincent Van Gogh as well. But however, his character is portrayed as a direct homage to Vincent Price being a famous horror film actor rather than an actual warlock, which I can't seem to remember seeing that since I quit watching it about through some episodes. But again, as I've said, I'm going to give this show another chance. I need to see how much more of a spectacular feel this show had to offer. And it's one of the highest reviewed shows of the series on Rotten Tomatoes as well. Mm-hmm. Definitely. And next at number 5 is the new Scooby-Doo movies from 1972. This is Scooby's second series that originally premiered on CBS. Actually, his only other show for CBS after the original series. Like its predecessor ran for 2 seasons, it still provided the same fun humor and what have you that we got. Aside from doubling the length of each episode, the series differed from its predecessor in the addition of a rotating special guest star slot. Now, of course, the concept was later revisited for Scooby-Doo and Guess Who. It was also the franchise's final time to feature Nicole Jaffe as the regular voice of Velma due to her marriage and retirement from acting. They actually had the living celebrities to provide their own voices for the series, which, well, amongst some of those include Don Knotts, Jerry Reed, Mama Cass Elliott, Jonathan Winters, Sandy Duncan, Tim Conway, Dick Van Dyke, Don Ems, Davy Jones, Sonny and Cher, and others. Others celebrities who were, well, already deceased or what have you, or retired, were done by imitators like the Three Stooges and Laurel and Hardy. Characters from previous series from Hanna-Barbera, like Josie and the Pussycats and the Harlem Globetrotters, would be featured as well. So anyway, this show's pretty fun and what have you, and I really liked the show for what it had to offer. The series has been released on physical media. Unfortunately, due to issues with the say of Charles Adams, the Adams Family episode is not included. Shame though. I still wish they could reconsider and what have you, considering I just learned that MeTV Toons is going to be showing the original Adams Family animated series Hanna-Barbera produced in 1973 on their later on this month. But still, I wish them the best of luck in trying to get hold of that episode. Seriously. Anyway, new Scooby-Doo movies. I do love it. It's a really good one. Oh yeah, I like the Batman and Robin episodes as well. Before Batman and Robin became part of the Super Friends the following year in '73. All right, next at number 4 is What's New Scooby-Doo from 2002. Originally premiering on the WB network, this is Scooby's comeback to the big screen after recently having success in the live action feature. And of course, Scooby's first series in a decade. This would also be the first since the foreclosure of Hanna-Barbera Studios and a year after William Hanna's death, a year before. I'm really not going to get into too much of the details since this will be featured in a Saturday morning TV log, which will be coming up in 2 weeks from this Saturday. The first time a 2000 series will be tackled on Saturday in my Saturday morning TV log. Now they brought back Frank Welker and Casey Kasem back to reprise their roles of Fred and Shaggy. Grey DeLisle, who was already well known for doing voice at the time on tunes such as Clifford the Big Red Dog and the Fairly Odd Parents, voiced Daphne for the first time. Mindy Cohn, who you might know best from playing Natalie Green on The Facts of Life, did the voice of Velma. But and while despite Don Misick had been dead since for the past 5 years when this series was on, Frank Welker took on the role of Scooby Doo as well. So I thought that was really good. Casey Kasem marked his return to Shaggy after not voicing him for the last 5 years as well. Anyway, I thought this was pretty good. This also marked the return of Velma and Fred as main characters in the franchise since the new Scooby-Doo Mysteries. Even though a pup named Scooby-Doo, which that's still to come, would serve as a prequel to the original series. Anyway, I've seen most of the episodes. I can't recall all of them. They did have a few, well, had rare guest appearances, and they did have some fun chase music sequences by major artists and or some independent artists. And let's see, they also had, well, some of the guests they had on there. Well, the only one I can recall on there was teen singer Lindsay Pagano, who you may not know who that is. That was the gal who was better known as the AOL girl because her song "Everything You Are" was featured in the commercials for that, and that of course was also used for the theme. I think was used for the theme to a WB sitcom called Maybe It's Me, which debuted the same year this did. But anyway, this show still proved to be a good series, and I really liked it. I liked that it retained the same feel as the classic Scooby series did, and its theme song, which was done by Canadian band Simple Plan, which I think they also appeared in an episode. But anyway, What's New Scooby-Doo? I really love this series. It's really a fun show. And coming in at number 3 is The Scooby-Doo Show from 1976. Now, this series originally premiered on ABC, Scooby's first show to come to that network after leaving CBS, and of course, Fred Silverman now being head of programming at ABC. This originally started out as part of the Scooby-Doo Dynamite Hour, and then next with Scooby's All-Star Laugh Olympics, and and then with some and then with a third, which ran for 3 overall seasons. The third season contained some episodes, 10 of those, individually under the Scooby-Doo Where Are You name, and the remaining 6 under the segments of Scooby's All-Stars. Anyway, now this show is good. I recently watched the whole series of it on Tubi. You can actually find that on the series of some of these shows on Tubi, but you can find me just about every Scooby-Doo show on Max. Anyway, despite the yearly changes in this series broadcast, at 3 seasons, this was the longest running format of the Scooby Doo show before the addition of Scrappy-Doo. The episodes from all of these 3 seasons have been run under the Scooby Doo show title since 1980, and these Scooby episodes did not air originally, air under this title. The credits on these syndicated versions all feature 76 copyright date, even though seasons 2 and 3 were produced in 77 and 78. But even so, I really like this show. And the creators of this series, Joe Ruby and Ken Spears, before they started Ruby Spears production, started working at ABC for Fred Silverman as production supervisors for the Saturday morning lineup. Where that same year they would also create Electra Woman and Diana Girl for the Croft Super Show, which debuted the same year. And then the following year they also did Magic Mongo for the show. Oh wait a minute, I almost forgot. They also worked on Wonderbug, which also aired as part of the Croft Super Show when it debuted. So anyway, I thought this show is so good. It still has a lot of the fun feels to the classics and what have you. And of course, its great theme song. And let's see if I can remember. Well, I'm just gonna say I had a lot of fun with this show. This is definitely one of my top 3 favorites. Now, it almost missed the top 3 at number 4, but after rewatching the series, I'd say it deserved to be in the top 3. So anyway, I think the Scooby Doo show is awesome. Oh yeah, and the addition of Scooby Dum, which is Scooby's cousin in some episodes, I thought that was pretty cool too. Who was voiced by Dawes Butler, who of course was best known for voicing Yogi Bear, Huckleberry Hound, and various earlier Hanna-Barbera cartoon characters. He does an exceptionally good job with the character. Anyway, the Scooby Doo show is a very good show, and I really do like it. And next at number 2 is A Pup Named Scooby-Doo from 1988. This came on ABC after 13 Ghosts was canceled. Scooby was back after a 2-year absence, and this time in a kid-like formula, similar to what had more recently been done with shows at the time like Muppet Babies and The Flintstone Kids, which of course was a recent hit for Hanna-Barbera. Anyway, it depicts younger versions of the titular character in the gang as they solve mysteries. The series was developed by Tom Ruegger, who had recently worked on numerous other shows at Hanna-Barbera and various other studios like Ruby Spears and Filmation. Anyway, this ran for 3 big seasons, just like the Scooby Doo show. Well, actually, they kind of counted 4 overall, but you'll have to take my word for it. Well, Ruger departed from the studio after the first season to go on to create Tiny Two Adventures for Warner Brothers. And Don Lusk, who was a longtime animator for Disney and Bill Melendez Animation Studios, the studio behind the Peanuts specials and others, took over as a director. And it was also the last series in which Don Messick voiced Scooby. And the only time in which Fred was voiced by someone other than Frank Welker. But anyway, Messick and Casey Kasem were the only original voice actors to reprise their roles, while the others were done by younger artists. Voice actor artists, that is. Anyway, this also had the chase music and this be the first time since well, the second season of my top pick. Even though there was a little bit of music in them, well, new Scooby Doo movies, but that's kind of different. Why have you? But anyway, I really love this show, and I really want to try and rank my favorite episodes of this, just like I want to do with the originals. Well, maybe one of the original series, but I don't want to get ahead of myself. But anyway, I loved watching A Pup Named Scooby Doo. I still like watching reruns of it to this day. It is one of my absolute favorites, and it's very, very funny. And it has a lot of great feel to it. Some pretty good bad guys. Red Herring's always a major nuisance in why have you when he appears, and I'm Fred's always accused of him almost every time, except for maybe one time. Anyway, but I loved A Pup Named Scooby Doo. It's one of my favorites, and of course my number one favorite Scooby Doo series of all time is, I bet you know what it is. It happens to be Scooby Doo, Where Are You? The show that originally started it all from 1969. Originally premiered on CBS, and well, I think you should probably know it because I recently did a Saturday morning TV log revisit on this series, which I can see is done much better than my original Saturday morning TV log of the series. If you've watched it, you'll know that I told you about the origins of this series, unlike how I talked about in my original Saturday morning TV log. But anyway, I really love this series. It's one of Hanna-Barbera's greats and what have you. This is what kind of pulled the Saturday mornings out, well, from not getting into too much controversy with parents and what have you after they've been going out about violence in the kids' shows for these last few years. Even though they had done well with some shows like the Archie show, and which came out a year prior, but anyway, this proved to be another big success. Anyway, I love the series for what it had to offer. It was just so fun and what have you. I've seen all 25 episodes and I still love it to this day. It's one of the absolute best because it has all sorts of great humor and what have you. And I love how the Scooby Gang gets into all sorts of predicaments. Where if it's going up against maybe a robot or the creeper or see Redbeard's ghost or a witch and a zombie, or even the snow ghost, or the fam shao, aka the green ghost. Well, not to be confused with Green Ghost from Pup Named Scooby Doo, okay? But anyway, you get the point. You know the story, okay? So anyway, now you know it. Scooby Doo, Where Are You is my favorite, and it's still one of the best Scooby Doo shows in my opinion. So, how would you rank the Scooby Doo series franchise? You can do this any way you want. If you want to keep new Scooby Doo mysteries together with new Scooby and Scrappy Doo show, that's fine. I don't mind. If you want to keep both Scooby and Scrappy Doo original series together, both series together, that's fine with me as well. You can do them by top 12 or top 14 like I did, and leave them for me in the comments section below. Or maybe you could do a top 13 if you're doing two series together, like both Scooby and Scrappy Doo, and just leave new Scooby and Scrappy Doo and new Scooby Doo Mysteries together. Well, you get what I'm saying. Leave them for me in the comments section below, okay? And if you like this video, consider clicking the like button and subscribe and be a part of the Big D Nation. Continue to help support my channel, make it grow, make the views grow. Next time, I'll be bringing to you a review of Poltergeist 2: The Other Side. So if you like this, check out the Saturday morning TV logs here for these various Scooby shows. In the upper left-hand corner is the Saturday morning TV log revisited episode I did not so long ago on, well, actually just last week on Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? The upper right hand corner is the Saturday morning TV log on a pup named Scooby Doo, and the bottom left hand corner is the Saturday morning TV log on the Scooby Doo show. And the bottom right hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe. If you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., then I'm your guy. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya.